Hi everyone.
Hello.
So I got rid of the mics because we tested the mics out and they don't work anyway. So you've been hearing just the phone audio all this time. Little did I know, I'll work on equipment. I bought all new equipment and they don't even work. So apologize if
Where you
we
got it
have to
from?
yell. So that was probably the reason I got it cheap online. So now I know better. No, it doesn't even work with the phone. I gotta figure like a Bluetooth thing out, I guess. Anyway, hey, this is Justin.
Justin Diamond. Hello.
He is representing Yang Gang today, and I got Nam over here too. He's gonna see. Nam.
Hello, this is Nam Man.
Nam Man. And so we are, if you can tell, the capital. Yeah,
Right back here.
We're in DC, and maybe we'll turn around. Yeah, I'm gonna turn around real quick so you can see the other direction real quick, because the other direction is awesome too. And then we'll turn it around and get us again. Yeah. Hey, do you recognize that building or that monument or whatever? Yeah. So anyway.
Here, I'll turn this guy around.
Whoa. We're back. We're back. Anyway. Hi everyone.
Just some tourists.
There's lots of people that don't vote in this country because we're in a touristy section. So yes, we've been talking to truckers, and we will have more trucker talking here soon, I'm sure. But we're just gonna go live, and we're gonna talk to Justin.
Hey, Mindful Skeptics here.
Lots of skeptics too.
No, Mindful Skeptics. He
Funny.
does a show.
Oh, he
It's a
does
guy.
this- oh, I see.
It's a guy. Hey.
I thought we were talking about the Jehovah's Witnesses who were skeptical about Yang.
Yeah, we had some a Jehovah Witness lady who was very skeptical about Yang, as in we were trying to promote Yang above God or something. I don't know, like, she was just weird. Oh,
The tent's around a good bit.
yeah, we're good. We're good.
1 second.
This is how it's working today. Our tent likes to move with the wind. It seems like.
Yeah, it's not exactly planted.
Yeah,
firmly.
so next time steaks. Yeah, we need steaks or they have like metal chains and water bottles, so that would work too, I think.
Yeah, big water jugs.
So we're gonna talk to Justin about his Yang Gang experience and kind of do a Yang Gang interview here with Justin here. So Justin, first let's take us way back when you were a little lad and you heard about Andrew Yang for the first time.
So I believe it was in March, around March.
Yes, it's windy.
It was around March that I first heard about Yang.
Hey, me too. March 12th.
Yeah, so that was around about the time that I got interested in Andrew Yang. I bought his book.
When you bought the book,
Why Normal People Here. The bookmark is in the page about trucking jobs today, as is appropriate. But I heard about Yang, and at first I was a skeptic. I did not like the concept of UBI because I didn't really understand it.
Oh, okay. You weren't.
I wasn't
with the
sold.
UBI.
But so I read his book,
Oh, that helped.
and the book sold me. I read it. I remember I read it on a long car ride, and I basically sat down and did it in like a one extended sitting. And then as soon as I was basically converted from being a skeptic into being someone who's like accepting of his ideas, he had an event in DC at the Lincoln Memorial, on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial.
And I missed that because this is my first Yang DC experience right here.
Yeah, so he came to DC, and little known fact, I was at that event, and it was the first time I believe he publicly made a joke about the PowerPoint State of the Union address. So I was actually the first person to start the PowerPoint chant.
Thanks for donating, man. Robert Lee.
Yeah, thanks, Robert. Thanks for supporting the Yang Gang.
Without him, we will not be nerds.
Yeah, he
So,
started the PowerPoint chat. This is what he's claiming. He started the PowerPoint
yeah, so,
chat.
or at least I believe I was the first person to chant PowerPoint at a Yang rally. So that was the goal. PowerPoint. I love PowerPoint.
Because he says the Seattle one came after the DC.
or at least I remember seeing the
Robert Lee
Seattle.
donated, I think, like $7. Robert Lee.
Robert Lee, yeah.
Probably.
Okay.
You donate $7.
Oh, I thought it was $1.99.
It was $4.99.
Oh, $4.99.
Plus
Okay.
of $1.99.
Oh yeah,
$7.
that just came in actually.
Oh, okay.
So
Gotcha.
that's basically the
Thank you,
time.
Robert Lee.
That's the point where I went from being like convinced by Yang to being sold on Yang, and I did a complete. Oh yeah, and this person in comments is saying CNN did a Yang media blackout where they were showing them the donation numbers of people on a ranking that had lower raised amounts than Yang.
That happened recently. Yeah.
Yeah,
I have to
on
go to,
CNN
I have to go to
and
my car, guys. You
MSNBC.
have to take care of this.
Sure thing. I'll see you in a bit. We'll keep an eye out. So that's how I got into Yang. I got really big into UBI as a concept. I started reading other philosophers and
Other
economists-
philosophers?
philosophers and economists, anthropologists on UBI.
Okay. Anthropologist?
Yeah, David Graeber is one.
What does an anthropologist have to do with a?
Well, David Graeber is just one example of someone who I've been reading recently. He's a
Does he-
leftist. He's a
does-
leftist.
Does he happen to be an anthropologist, but not talking
He is
about?
he is an anthropologist who supports universal basic income.
So it's not that he's an anthropologist that makes him an expert. It's just that he is.
It's just that he is an anthropologist who talks about universal basic income.
I gotcha. I thought we were like going back to dinosaurs or something.
Yeah.
The dinosaurs supported a
Oh no, that's the
universal-
archaeologist. That's an archaeologist. No, close.
What's the
Anthropology it's very niche. It's instead of studying it's like sociology of the past.
Oh, okay.
Of the
That's-
past. So
that's
it's
the-
that's why you think because it's like they study old cultures stuff too.
Gotcha.
But it's like the cultural
The
aspect.
cultural
of
aspect
archaeology.
of history.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's similar though. It's like
Yeah.
basically the same thing.
Still, the joke still stands.
The
Where are
joke
we looking
still-
at
the joke still
dinosaurs
stands.
supporting UBI?
Yeah, like he-
culturally.
He actually became famous for talking about like the first conception of like monetary systems
Oh, okay.
in culture. So like
Gotcha.
going through archaeology stuff
Yang
like that.
Gang.
Yang Gang, hello.
We got Yang Gang coming.
We have more Yang Gang on our way. So yeah, so I've been basically deep diving UBI lately. Hello.
Have a seat.
Hi.
Have a seat.
Do you-
Welcome.
I guess what I printed was too big, but maybe we can like plaster it across the top.
We'll make it work. We'll make it
Yeah,
work.
sorry.
We gotta get this sign fixed. Everything. The wind is not our friend today. It's our biggest enemy.
Okay, so I brought a lot of tape.
Nice. We have some. I don't know how much is left though.
Okay, well I have reinforcements.
That's
I
one group.
have measuring thing, scissors,
We have somebody who is.
bunch of Sharpies.
The big question I have to ask you before we continue: are you camera shy?
No.
Okay.
No,
My Yang
we're-
water bottle.
We're live right now. I just ordered that.
We're live,
Still
and I'm
in the
gonna-
mail.
This masking tape thing.
I'm gonna include
Scotch
you in
tape.
this.
Hey, what's up? Math. All right.
Yang Gang is really thriving today.
More tape.
She is
So much
prepared.
tape.
She's like
A
Girl
lot
Scout.
of glue.
Girl Scouts.
More Sharpies.
Skills right here.
What else do we have in here?
Jeez. Really got everything.
Pens,
got every color of
Sharpies.
Sharpie.
I don't. So, what do you think is more effective? So, I have block letters, right? But they're like, so I got Fred Rainey's truck printout. I don't know where you want to stick this.
This
Okay.
is.
Oh yeah.
We gotta go truck heavy. I agree.
Yeah, and then
Can you show that on camera?
so
We're going truck heavy today on the Yang advertising.
Yeah, and Fred the Felon still not here.
he's supposed to be here.
No, he's
Oh.
not supposed to be here. He's still not here.
So I got these flyers printed.
I love this.
DC taxpayer money because you get 20 copies for free as a DC resident
All right.
Really.
at the public library on a daily basis, even in
and
color.
still no representation.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Although I paid for an Uber to get there, which far out.
Yeah, that's
Um,
crazy. Now I'm gonna pick you up, maybe.
All right, so I got flyers here, and then
this
so
concept.
here's the thing: I printed out these block letters. Do you think I should cut them out individually and paste them on this black paper, or do you think I should like cut them out as words? And I also have markers so I can color them in with. Like, what works?
Easy to cut it out as a whole word. It'd probably be easier
And then just color it in or something.
if you want. Yeah.
I could have printed out in color, but
Yeah.
I don't know what we're attempting to do. Just you need a big sign or what?
no. Well, yeah, I was told by AJ Sutton to make a big sign that says truck driving is the most common job in 29 states. So I have
Wow.
like,
And only
Stop.
13% of truckers are unionized.
well then you can make another sign that says that for sure. But
Well,
like,
I was joking
so
before
how?
about how
oh.
I know all the statistics.
You do. You know the math.
We're gonna talk about to Justin about some statistics here in a minute too.
Sorry, I'm interrupting your little call.
No, it's all right.
Okay. All right. In that case, I will just
If you need help with anything, as soon as
No,
as soon
I'm
as
good.
here.
What do you?
Okay, well, I guess we're back. Cut them out. She is well prepared, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cut them out.
They say cut them out. The people say cut them out.
Is individual letters or whole words?
That's
Yeah,
what people say on the internet.
I don't listen to them. They don't know what
Okay.
they're talking about. Cutting them out is too much work. Come down and volunteer if you want to cut out.
I'm okay with cutting them out.
I don't know. So anyway, let's get into some statistics, Justin.
Statistics.
Okay, so he started the PowerPoint chat, and that's what we established.
Yes.
It's all him.
I take credit.
That's what we decided. And then we're going to talk statistics because I had an argument with a family member once removed about that we have the lowest participation rate.
Labor participation.
Labor participation rate. And he was like, no, we don't. What's that? That's not true. And I was like, yeah, it is. But I was just going off what Andrew says. So I looked up the statistic and it said like 63%. And I was like, that's above 50. Is that really low? And so Justin here is going to clarify. Is that low, Justin?
It is relatively low. There are countries, Western developed countries, that have labor participation rates well above that of ours. Ours was particularly high. We were at almost 70% some 8 years ago, but the labor participation rate has been on the decline due to things like automation. So it takes people out of work that counts as labor, basically, and either makes them unemployed or pushes them into a different
Well,
field.
he says that it's as low as other countries that are third world countries. So.
Yeah, there are countries with actually higher labor participation rates that are than ours that are third world countries because people are doing real work. So again, it's not like the indicator of whether an economy is succeeding, but it is the indicator of how many people are at work that want to be at work. And in that case, it has been on the decline because of things like automation and because we're becoming a more knowledge-based economy.
So he's, Andrew says 4 million jobs were automated away, and half of those people went on disability.
Yeah, in his book he talks a lot about disability as a concept. A lot of towns in America, middle America particularly, are sort of run on disability checks. So it's a major issue in terms of local economies in the central country, sort of for the median America.
And is there what's the word I'm looking for? Inflation in those run on Social Security.
Yeah.
The real issue comes from dependency. A lot of people look for fulfillment through working for themselves and making a living. So that's one sort of emotional. To quote the anthropologist I was talking about before, it's like people who feel like they're not doing meaningful work. It leaves a collective scar across their soul. So that's a dark way to look at it, but.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see that.
But
So that's
one
big
thing.
problem.
Another thing is there's a lot of fraud. So people apply for disability and they stay on it well past the point where they necessarily need it. But I mean, it's not to say that disability should be you throw the baby out with the bathwater and get rid of disability as a concept. It's just a major issue associated with something that's...
if they had the $1,000 a month, they probably won't be on disability because that's a better deal than disability.
So you really wanna do something like UBI where it's unconditional, where there is no fraud. There's no government checks. You don't have to pay bureaucrats to read through papers. People who have a social security number get a check. It's a way more reasonable form of welfare. And there are...
Well, it's not welfare, but yeah, it's
it is welfare.
It's a better
social
way.
Welfare.
Oh, because it's social well-being.
I would argue
Fair.
it's welfare. I mean, by a more loose definition of
It's
welfare.
a dividend. It's a freedom dividend. Just like companies get a dividend.
But welfare doesn't have to be a bad word either.
Yeah. Okay.
In America, I feel like everyone you say you're on welfare, it's seen as a negatively connotated thing.
Yeah.
But I think it's better to sort of build identity with it. Like something like the freedom dividend, everyone gets it whether they're rich or poor.
Yeah.
So I mean, there are some people who theorize, some more sociologists who theorize that welfare can become a part of sort of a national identity. It can improve your pride in being a member of your country. We've got a lawnmower. It's the national law, so
They have a lot of law in here.
Yeah, it's all lawn.
Is it okay if I share a story?
Go for it.
You gotta be on camera to do it.
Okay, so on the way over here, I yanged our Uber driver, and he became Yang Gang. He was supporting Bernie.
Pete.
Yes.
You poached him.
And yes, I poached him, and he said I could not post this on Twitter, but that I could show it to people. So here's me in the Uber.
Nice.
He's all Yang Gang now.
We're
Yeah.
yanging people all the
Yeah.
time.
I actually usually don't yang people. It's because I'm wearing the math hat today, and
Yeah.
I was like coming with flyers, and so I had to talk about him. Normally, I talk about my personal life and whatever in Uber, but
Wear the math hat to every econ quiz and every class that it's relevant to.
awesome.
And I've yanked my geography professor.
I love you. So yeah, I mean it's fun to wear the swag around and talk to people for sure. So I have the stickers. I put the stickers everywhere because of you, Michael Kim. I know you're out there. Anyway.
I've got some fun ones here actually.
Oh.
This is one of these is irrelevant to Yang, but that's just my personal thing. Here, so there we go.
Buster Flyer.
All of our Yang stuff. And then when people ask me about it, I flip around the computer and
That
show
is
them this.
so cool.
So I've
I'm very impressed.
I'm getting a body count of people I've yanged. I'm at like 6 just from my laptop.
Okay.
It's great move. Where's the flyer at? It
flew away.
Oh, it flew away. I don't want to
even-
lose it. Probably under the table.
No.
Oh, it's right there.
Oh my god.
Totally
Sorry about
flew.
that.
Don't
It
worry.
totally just flew.
I knew it flew away. I just didn't know.
I think we should. I was just gonna tape it to the front of your thing eventually, but right now it'll just be under a water bottle.
There we go.
All right.
All right. So yeah. I don't know.
Hi, how's it going?
Hello. Interested in learning about engineering? Really? Cool. Anything about it in particular seems
He
interesting.
raised lots of money.
Yeah.
Did from
Raised lots of
99% small donors.
Is that what it is? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. He has. I think he has a lower average donation than anyone except Bernie.
Yeah.
Really?
Well,
How's it being organized? You guys know this, don't you?
How is the donation being organized?
Yeah. Well, how's the whole thing being organized?
He has-
How do you guys interact with it? What's
It's
your
usually Facebook. Facebook's the biggest platform. to get-
Facebook?
Yeah.
he's
To
on
get
Twitter a
hit-
lot.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
the groups to
That's
get
true. The
involved
groups
are
is on Facebook.
on Facebook.
Yeah. He's got
but
a
they also
particularly
have
strong
emails.
internet following.
Yeah.
Most
you-
of his engagement
you-
is through the internet.
Huh?
Would you
Open
get me
that.
started?
Oh,
Sure.
No.
Sure.
You know how to get it open.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I'm sitting here. I was holding it out for your scissors.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. No. You knew
I thought you just wanted it open.
I did want it open, but
I have
didn't.
3 kids under 5. I do that 8 times a day. So.
Oh, see, I don't have 3 kids in there.
what are you out here for?
Go. I am apparently taking a day off.
Nice.
So am
Uh,
I. Awesome.
Are you really?
I'm fun employed until October 28th. That'll be my first day on the job.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun employed.
That's what
See,
I
labor
call it.
participation rate.
Yeah.
That's great.
Labor participation rate. Right now, I'm not filing for any unemployment or applying for any job because I have my own business. So, what am I in the labor participation rate?
Self-employed,
I'm
you're
not
employed.
counted.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. That might be
No, you
counted.
count as employed,
You count.
don't you?
I don't
Well,
think
I don't,
so.
employed, but I don't know about labor participation.
I don't think anybody's counting my statistics.
I don't know the,
Huh.
the niche details of labor participation rate
Yeah.
between what just makes it distinct from employment, but
Yeah.
I think you might count because you were looking for work, you found work, and it's work. It's not like
Yeah, but nobody knows. I mean, I don't.
I don't actually know
I
the
don't
details of
report
like
my-
running your own business and
Yeah.
being counted in that statistic.
Yeah. I-
But yeah, that's what we were just talking about is like unemployment in general. As it's being furthered by automation and you know the automation of labor. So we're here with the trucking event because we think that the automation of truck driving is coming in the next decade or two.
Right.
And
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go for it.
granted, I think it's the most common job in 29 states.
Really?
So yeah.
Wow.
So we're not here like officially as part of 10 but we're here like to support them. So
And they were just telling me that they, when they're moving, it's $900 to $1,600 a day of income.
yeah. And And think about how much income then would be lost if that kind of job gets automated away to a robot.
But here's the
Is this
thing.
water free?
Yes.
Can I take one?
Yes, you can. Take a water. Humanity first.
Is that Mr. Yang's?
It's a slogan, yeah.
He has a number of them. Humanity first, not left, not right, but forward.
Trickle up economy.
Trickle up economy, as opposed to trickle down.
It's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
And make America think harder
Make America think harder. That's
instead
cool.
of make America great again.
Right. That's cool.
Yeah, so what were you saying about
So I think of a little bit about the history of industrialization in the U.S. And I read this book about industrialization in the Connecticut River Valley in the middle of the 19th century because they had water power. So right all through there, what would happen to my grandfather actually.
Yeah, he saw got a $20 raise.
Yes, I thank Robert Lee.
So,
You're awesome again,
you know,
Robert Lee.
They would do things like they'd set up vertical silk manufacturing
Try to listen to this
where
story
they would
here.
come in bales, you know, and then it would have all the steps, and you'd end up with ladies' dresses.
Like vertical integration.
It was,
Like, yeah.
right? And it was a big deal in American history.
Okay, people are coming for more water.
Can I get a water?
Yes, just grab and go, and vote
Grab one,
Andrew.
go for it.
Tell everyone about Andrew Yang.
Tell everyone about Andrew Yang. Google Andrew Yang.
Vote for him 4 years later.
No,
Looks
tell your parents.
Vote for him in your second term, for your second term election.
Well, he's gonna lower the voting age to 16. So
Well,
like,
I don't know if that one's gonna get through.
all right, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, fight. Yes. Go
Go
ahead.
for it. Here, take
Tell
one.
everyone about Andrew Yang.
Thank you.
Tell your parents to Google Andrew Yang.
Okay.
Yeah, tell everyone about Andrew Yang.
You have to give the card to your parents. That's the only cost.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. We have bottles over here, actually. We have bottles over here.
Thank you.
There we go. Yeah, so
And so this went into the 50s.
Take
of
take one of
the
those.
1950s.
uh-huh.
Right? Where you had these little factories where it would be a real center of the town. And then since then the whole organizations have changed, especially since the 70s. But I don't think that it's particularly good for us to try to further that model. I think we're beyond that model. I mean, people think, you know, if only I had this job which paid me, let's say, over $80,000, right?
That's the dream. 80,000.
80,000 is crazy good, yeah.
Or over 65,000. You know, they think if I could do that and work for somebody else and get health insurance, you know, my problems are solved, essentially.
Yeah. Well, there's like a statistical number of happiness if you make. I think it's over 75,000. Yeah, 75,000 a year. You're happy, and any increase in that doesn't make you more happy.
Yeah. So that's like the dropping off point of how money makes you, how much happier money can make you. But
Yeah.
let's
Google Andrew
But I
Yang.
guess
Tell
where
your
I'm
parents.
coming from is I don't think it's a bad thing for us
Go ahead.
that we're automating trucking.
And then ask
well,
that
neither
lady
does
right
Andrew.
there.
So he's not
Alright.
like a Luddite.
Right?
He doesn't say like, oh, we have all these new trucks, we're gonna smash them and put a truck driver in the seat and then keep it like it used to be. What he wants to do instead is he wants to take these companies that are gonna be in ownership of the trucks.
Google Andrew Yang.
Take,
Tell
like-
your parents to Google Andrew Yang.
Oh man, all these kids are taking our water.
Andrew Yang's campaign.
Oh well. We'll get more water.
Okay,
Humanity
come on.
first. We have to stick to the slogan. Stick to the slogan.
Calm
There are
down over
some
there.
thirsty
No
students.
fighting. Humanity first.
Share the water if you have to, guys.
Share it.
Share it equally, and it's free of the water. All right. So, what was I saying? We'll go get more water. I'll get more water. But what I was saying is, he doesn't want to like get rid of automation. His goal isn't to like stop automation. His goal is to take the people who are in ownership of these new cars that will not just be replacing people's jobs, but they'll be making more money than those people. So they'll create more value for the people who are owners of them, because they don't have to pay wages, and the trucks will be more efficient than people.
Mm-hmm.
So in the case that you automate away all those jobs, millions of jobs, by the way. Like I said, it's like the most common job for most states. In the case that gets automated away, he puts a VAT tax on corporations, value-added tax, and that's going to affect companies like Amazon that own those trucks. And at only half the levels of like European countries, 10%, you can have enough money. You can have enough money
The wind
to
was so much
the wind
it
is
blew
killing
the
us
camera.
today. You have enough money to give everyone $1,000 a month, every U.S. citizen, without paying a dime. A dime
Right.
over. No deficit, no borrowing. You're only paying the amount that you get from a 10% VAT tax.
Just let me throw something out. Stiglitz, there's this economist named Stiglitz.
Yeah, and I'm an econ major, so.
Okay. Stiglitz
This
pointed
guy.
out that since 1970, the wealth shift in the United States, which is a structural wealth shift,
Since 1970.
amounts to $11,000 per year per family.
So it's becoming more unequal.
By $11,000.
Yeah, it's quite a bit.
That's
And
coincidentally almost the amount of freaking dividend.
Whoa.
Right.
yeah, and more interestingly, that can arguably you can see that has accelerated over time because
Especially since they took all the water bottles that were way down. I was like,
That's why.
But,
yeah, I mean, stick this under this clipboard.
that kind of wealth gap only serves to accelerate itself by the means of things like automation. Because if you have a company like Amazon and they own these robots, right? They don't have to pay anyone wages. They don't have to give more money down to the bottom level of the economy, the people who are laborers, who are unskilled workers. So the capital only tends to recycle itself and concentrate itself more heavily at the top of the pyramid.
Well, here's the thing. You used the phrase unskilled workers. And I don't think we ought to have those.
I don't either. I think everyone should have like a higher education, be a skilled worker in a knowledge-based economy.
I disagree with that. I think with automation and
Right.
with robots, a lot of what you call unskilled labor that involves labor that deals with humans, like caregiving, is
Right.
actually going to be more important.
Right.
And so you're right. Like if you're talking about manufacturing, a lot of previously lower skilled jobs will be going away. But I think some basic caregiving jobs that don't require a huge amount of skills will actually be important in the new economy.
Well,
Especially as people are aging and
another interesting thing
Yeah.
is that it's not just unskilled jobs that get automated away. There's white-collar jobs, like skilled jobs that can get automated away too. Like radiologists could be replaced by computers in a few years from now, because they only look at an X-ray and they look for a tumor in that. A computer can do that way more efficiently and way faster.
right. The computer can see like a lot more shades of gray than the human eye. You know, like the AI can see that. So it's better than the radiologist
Right.
by the sheer ability to see.
By
like,
doing that.
yeah.
But those machines, of course, for example, can't build civilization.
No, of course.
Right.
But I mean, there's still non-routine labor. Computers will never fully replace people, but they will replace routine labor, things that are redundant tasks.
Well, I would say that Stiglitz's $11,000 was mostly extracted from civilization.
How do you mean from?
In other words, I think starting around 1970, we got all these people working hard to structure our economy progressively so that $11,000 did get sucked out intentionally. It was a lot of work for them. And of course they made a lot of money doing it.
You're saying the people at the top intentionally.
Well, and also their minions, right?
Okay, so you're saying that the way it's structured right now under a more progressive system is helping the people at the top?
Well, that this big shift since 1970 that Stiglitz writes about was absolutely intentional and was an enormous amount of work, and it was very profitable work, and therefore it was self-funding
I see.
to restructure the economy by this $11,000 per family.
Well, so I mean, you're talking about it in the term of like it going up in that way, like the money's going up 11 now, like the money is being handed up to people at the top, $11,000 a year on average per family.
By means of a great deal of work of restructuring our civilization.
Okay.
And I'd go one more step. I'd say that these shifts have been at the expense of, in other words, by means of breaking down our civilization.
Like social cohesion.
For example,
Rise in suicide rates, opioid epidemic, things like that.
but
Which would be a
also-
side effect of what you're describing.
A side effect where, so you restructure things in ways that give you money or give your employers money structurally, and that the way you do it is by essentially attacking the civilization that was in place and reducing the things that were
Right, helicopter.
So by attacking civilization, how do you like? Can you give me just so I have a more like clear understanding of what you're saying?
Right.
Can you explain like what would be an example of like an attack on civilization?
So, let me give you an example of building up civilization. This is an existing project in the Southwest called Malpai Borderlands Group. It's only 100 families, more or less. It's as big as Rhode Island,
Okay. Can't hear you.
and they're ranchers.
Okay.
And 25 years ago,
You need to speak up.
they were being attacked by real estate speculators. Because, of course, people get old. Right?
People with the money want to keep the money, and they, attack. They try to keep more of it by buying up more people. And if you're a speculator, you're going to try to take more property, and then whoever has it, you're going to try to make it more difficult. That's kind of what's happening to the truckers. Like big corporations are making it more difficult for the truckers with regulation, trying to get them to go out of business so they can take over their routes and their trucks and make them have to work for them. That's the same kind of concept you're talking about.
Well, it's one thing that I'm sure is happening is that obviously this would be something they would love to make happen. But I just, these people at the Malpai Borderlands group all they were is ranchers
So tense.
who have there's
We almost
places to
blew
put
away
a
people.
spike.
It's a nice breeze.
It is
Yeah.
nice breeze.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not good for
Not
our
for the
flyers. But
Are those business cards?
yeah, I think so.
Okay, so you're
They were
saying
taping them to the wall.
sort of by the building of a civilization, you mean it doesn't necessarily have to be like a whole civilization. It could
No.
be it could be any sort
It
of
can be a
social-
part of it. For example, you guys could create an insurance company for truckers, and that would allow you to hire as many lobbyists as you need, right, to protect them. And it's entirely feasible to do that. I
Well, I'm
think.
doing this. I'm doing that. I'm kind of doing that. I have a nonprofit called American Jobs Factory,
Uh-huh.
and that is to give more agency to workers, and be able to lobby for them and better working conditions and things like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's in the works. That's one of my big plans.
And like you're describing right now, truckers don't really have those protections.
No,
They have
they don't.
13% of them are unionized. That's like nothing. It's terrible.
Right.
And you may not want to use a union to do your organization.
Exactly. You can use any other.
A nonprofit. Like I
You
got.
can use a nonprofit.
That's
exactly.
what I'm doing. Yeah.
Oh, you decided to cut out the letters.
Yeah.
Cutting out letters.
Well,
But,
maybe I'm just gonna tape this as my first thing. That way.
So yeah, in the
But-
context of what we're describing now,
But Andrew Yang has a plan to give each person agency by giving them the resources they need, which is $1,000 a month, so that they can make their own decisions for their life in America and not have to be beholden to like corporation or other things.
And
So that's the Andrew Yang plan, which I support. Don't we support that,
Would
guys?
you-
Yeah. Okay.
Would you say that, for example, something like, because I'm trying to like make sure I fully understand like what you're saying.
And the democracy dollars? Yeah.
Would you say that something like the opioid epidemic is evidence of how like a pharmaceutical company is breaking up civilization, like almost intentionally for profit at the expense of people's and at the expense of people and their social harmony? Because like they sell prescription drugs, and then people get addicted to them because of the dosages that they're being given, things like that.
I think it might be interesting to try to I wonder about a strategy which
Got motorcycle cops coming through.
would try to build civilization.
Uh-huh.
I wonder about that strategy.
Evil Knievel.
You know, I think the thing that is attractive, because I've never campaigned for a president before. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm young. That's
Yeah.
one contributing factor. But I'll also say that I wouldn't have campaigned for other presidential candidates in the past.
Yeah.
The only person I can see myself mildly liking is like I like Ross Perot. Like, I think he's an interesting guy. I like all the weird candidates. I like all the funny candidates. You know.
Right.
But Andrew Yang, something that's appealing to him about me is that I think he's trying to build a better society as a whole.
And he uses PowerPoint.
Yeah. He wants to have a PowerPoint to State of the Union address, which is like a funny, ridiculous, wacky hijink. But in terms of
serious, man.
very serious.
We need graphs.
But-
to know what's going on.
but in terms of building a world for people where they have freedom to pursue things that are fulfilling to them, something like the freedom dividend is absolutely necessary, especially in a world where it's harder and harder to find a job that is both congruently fulfilling and makes money.
Do you have a charger in the car? Get it?
So
Oh, I need to get my charger at the phone.
an area which I wish I heard more of is
I have an external charger that I can get that charger.
it might be called anthropology.
Yep, I was just talking about anthropology.
You were.
What's
What's your interest in anthropology?
I was just talking about David Graeber. Have you heard of him?
No,
He's
no.
an
What's he
anarchist
do?
anthropologist. I was just quoting him before. We were talking about
Anarchist anthropologist.
Well, everyone's talking about anthropology today. What's the big idea? I'm sorry, what were you saying?
So
So I'm gonna leave you with Justin for a minute. I got run to the car to get a backup pack. Yeah,
We're on like
so it doesn't blow away. So this part of anthropology, the one area where it starts is a project called the Lucy Project,
Am I commenting?
and it was three guys. I think it was almost 15 years ago now. What they did was they won a competition in England.
Hello,
and it was the centenary prize for the
Hi, how are you?
British Science Organization, the national
Oh,
organization.
good. Where you at?
So, and what it was about was to figure out how we've evolved
like culturally.
culturally.
As a
We're
society.
still at the mall.
So 1 million years ago, right, or 3 million years ago, we didn't really have that big groups that we worked in, right? And the reason that this is true is because of our brain power. You need bigger brains to have bigger groups.
Yeah.
And right now, of course, we have enormous groups,
Yeah.
We're doing
but
the live
they don't
broadcasting
really
right now,
work.
so.
in a human sense.
I see what you're getting at, yeah.
Okay, come on. And
So
be
if you're with
a live,
150
live
people,
broadcast.
and let's say for some reason you're isolated geographically and
okay,
economically,
okay,
right?
bye-bye.
You're self-sufficient with 150 people, which is hard, by the way.
Yeah, especially because of how many resources it takes just to...
Exactly. And what if you need medical work done? What if you need dental work?
Coming
Melissa's
in
coming?
30 minutes.
Yeah, you won't always have people to
Awesome.
specialize
Can't
in the necessary trade.
Right. You want to have, there's all kinds of advantages for these big organizations that we have now, or these big civilizations that we have now. But we haven't got to the point of figuring out how to make them work for humans, right? And it's an organizational problem.
Now, I do have a question for you.
Sure.
So my question would be, do you think that it's possible through some sort of reorganization to make a large group benefit humans at all?
Absolutely.
So you think large
Absolutely.
groups can inherently
And
still
I think
work?
I think it's fall down easy.
All right. Well, I'd be inclined to agree.
All right.
So put it right here. That's two people agreeing on a major fundamental thing about human existence. So
Right.
you got to shake hands over that.
Absolutely.
But
yeah.
no, I agree. I think that it totally can work, and
Yeah.
and that's why I'm here actually in part is because I
Right.
think that that's possible.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Because I always say, like, if I were like a radical like Marxist, like if I were, I'd
you
totally
were.
be like the commune type. You know what I mean? Like the 150 self-sufficient people.
Let me just interject. In theory,
In theory.
because
In
as
theory.
soon as you walked in the door,
Yeah.
you'd probably like it a lot
Exactly.
less.
So like that's why I say if, like, 'cause I consider myself to be a capitalist still. Like I like capitalism. I like the fruits of capitalism and modern like development, and I think that it's proven
Right.
itself through history.
Right.
So
Lifted a bunch of people out of poverty.
exactly.
I mean,
Absolutely.
inequality has also worsened, but you know, the average person has improved.
So in this kind of big society that we're talking about, where there's
If you're
so
talking,
many,
I'm gonna put
Right.
the camera on you.
what?
If you're talking, I'm gonna put the
I know
camera
I'm
on you.
talking. I'm cutting out things.
so
I'm just gonna be staring down while.
so like that's what I'm saying though. Is like in that big society, you need something like capitalism to make it work.
But you don't
But
need capital.
but you don't need it in its current form.
Um,
You need it in a form that I think Andrew Yang's trying to help build, which is like the sort of human-centered capitalism is what he calls it.
okay.
I love the way he talks about how capitalism, sun technology ate him. You know,
What did it say?
capitalism, sun technology had him for dinner, basically.
All right.
You know,
See,
it's
Son of a
like,
capital.
like capitalism worked
If you
so
wanna take
well
this.
that it made.
Human-centered capitalism is like a policy
Yeah.
of his. It's a more
All right.
ambiguous
All
policy.
right. I'll look it up.
So, I mean, his website has over 100 policies, detailed policies, but human-centered capitalism is more of an ethos. It's more of like a way of describing how he thinks about how you conceptualize the economy.
Right.
Because, I mean, like, the economy is not there's no economy. It's
Right.
like our perception of the economy. When I met, I didn't meet him. I didn't like have a personal one-on-one conversation with Yang, but I was standing a few feet away from him at the Lincoln Memorial during his rally. He said he told a Indian proverbial story
What did it say?
of seven, or I think it's 6 blind men.
Daniel's coming
So
back.
there's 6
Daniel's
blind
coming
men.
back.
And this is how the economy works basically. There's 6 blind men, and all of them are trying to describe an elephant, but they're all feeling the elephant, but they have their hands on a different part. So the person who's touching the trunk says it looks like a snake. The person who's touching the leg says it looks like a tree. The
Right.
person who's touching the tail says it looks like a rope. And everyone has their own conception of how the economy looks in the context of the metaphor. But in reality, none of them are seeing the whole elephant because they're just trying to use one sense, which is just their own sense of touch. So the human-centered capitalism is sort of another way of looking at it that at least I think
I saw that.
has a more full picture of what the economy is and how it should function. And like you said, it's like a way you can take a large society, a scaled-up society, and make it work for every individual. Because capitalism is the champion of individual interests. It's centered around individual desires, wants, needs, and I would like to think, at least, and I do think, that you can make it consistent with the well-being of the common.
Starts at noon at the fairgrounds.
I would suggest, again,
Well, have a seat.
There's this lady named Ostrom, who you probably have heard of.
Ostrom?
Ostrom. You should look her up.
I'm not.
Uh,
Oh, hello.
No, I'm taking
so
a
she
break
won the
today.
Nobel Prize in 2009.
Uh-huh.
It's not same Fred, but we have another Fred here.
Okay, wonderful. We'll have another friend.
Okay, great.
Recruiter.
What were you saying? We'll finish the
So,
thought.
so she won the Nobel Prize in 2009 for work that she started back in the 50s, and she was among the people who, and for example, what she would do is she would study farmers and agriculturalists working in a watershed. So a whole valley, right? And what she found out, because you don't want to have somebody sucking off all the water.
Yeah.
Right. So it's an obvious metaphor, but this also physically exists, right?
Yeah.
It happens often. And what she finds is that they, under certain circumstances, they'll self-organize.
So they'll organize in a way that everyone will be able to get their share.
They'll
Yeah.
well, but it won't be necessarily equitable entirely.
That's fine.
That's fine.
Fred will be back.
And but that they will actually organize on occasion, right?
That's what humans are best at.
They are extremely skilled relative to all the other animals.
Exactly. And that's what I think is the defining characteristic.
There you go. Now the thing is, that there's a lot
Ready to
to
get
know
on the
about
Yang
it.
Gang? Ready to get on the Yang Gang? All right.
It's a lot harder than it looks.
So are you
Yeah,
connected
definitely.
with any local gang gangs?
And that's where
I don't know what that is.
social
I
disharmony
like
comes
Joni,
from.
like,
Where
Yeah.
people can't get along.
So
Or they
they're-
can't work
they're in
some sort of
Virginia.
system out. Is because people have their own,
Where
because
did
as
they
much of
But anyway,
as much of it is
if
a
you go-
blessing
do
that
you use
humans can
Facebook at all?
organize, there's also the
Yeah,
curse
I
of
have
humans
that.
having their
So
own
usually
opinions.
the groups are on Facebook and they do
Right.
also organizations.
So
Okay.
And like local,
it is
weekly.
it doesn't work
meetups
every
and
time.
Things like that because
It works hardly ever.
Traditional media.
Yeah,
is not
it doesn't.
gonna
It's
handle
really
it.
not
So we
perfect,
need
but
to beat the streets ourselves and
I think
get
you're
the
right.
word
There are
out and
ways
hand out
that
flyers and organize and
that people
do
can
all
organize
stuff
that
so
is
it's
beneficial
Instagram.
beneficial to people. You can create
Okay.
disequity
Yeah.
that is
Volunteer,
healthy.
Do I look up like a
Because I mean,
local-
Yeah,
perfect
let me get
equality
you
has its own myriad of issues. Like perfect equality comes with a series of constraints.
Does this have,
like there's no
local
reason
information on
to
it?
innovate. There's no reason to
Is
push
there a flyer
forward.
that-
And there's no reason to
local
try and like
information?
find a new system that might work
I
better.
just printed out this.
So a
Someone
little bit of
named,
inequality is
Alex
good.
or who-
But you don't want it to be
and
too
such
disequitable
like-
that nobody gets something that maybe they're entitled to or deserve.
Yeah, where did Nam go? Yeah, I would just
Where
look
I'm coming
on
at this
Facebook
from
and
is
just Google
Washington, D.C.
there's been all this work
There's also
about
Nova.
essentially human nature.
Yeah.
AJ
Right.
Sutton, I think, on Facebook.
And Ostroma is
heavily
one of them.
involved with that. Yeah.
And there's a bunch others.
The only Maryland one is in Baltimore. So the
And
Maryland people
we've
go
gotten to the
DC
point
one,
now
and the Nova people are
where
lucky to have their own.
It's like
the principles are fairly
Yes, they're regular meetups. Yeah.
And you could debate about that for hours.
There's
What's the
different
nature
events
of
like
Actually,
human
today,
no.
being?
No,
like
this is-
volunteer
this is
events, and they also have
true.
like happy hours.
I'm
they
sorry?
have debate watch parties.
we're at the stage now where we really do
Did
have
you ever come around here?
pretty
Camp-
clear
I met
Done.
you in the-
I just saw him at the
how we
climate
got here.
change forum.
How we
at
got
Georgetown
here, but not
about
Oh yeah.
why
2
we
weeks
are the
ago.
way we
Yeah.
are.
Yeah. Oh cool.
Took a picture with him.
Oh, that's
Well-
I
awesome.
had my
um,
water bottle, which just fell down, but it's like my favorite water bottle, the trickle up economy.
Oh okay.
Yeah. As opposed to trickle down.
Awesome.
At least that's what I would say.
Alright, cool.
Not to get too philosophical on
no,
things.
we're a lot further
Well,
along than
thanks
people
for
realize.
stopping by the table.
I agree.
All
I agree with that.
Take care.
Did email it.
And
I'm
We had
about
some
to,
local
so
people
that-
looking
that's-
at Yang Gang
Glad
stuff.
to join.
I should have turned the camera around.
so
Just
going from
Justin's
this,
talking forever here.
if you're trying to build groups, which is possible,
Prove my hat.
we have knowledge to draw on.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, history is a magnificent tool.
It's more than that.
Yeah. It's a whole. It's a whole like dictionary of
Oh, I think
like
I have
the
this
what do you-
on.
not in not dictionary like
Justin
the whole
just
encyclopedia
talking
of history is
forever.
really great. You can what about it? What do you want?
so. Fred, the trucker, was gonna come over and answer some trucking questions,
Oh, answer some trucking questions.
but he got bored already and left. I guess.
he doesn't like to know about human nature
Yeah.
too much. I guess we
So
should get him over
hopefully-
here.
So hopefully he'll be back and we'll ask him about trucking. 'cause
Yeah, that'd be
that's-
appropriate
that's
for
kinda the
DC
point.
truckers, Yang for truckers.
But
Yeah, if
but-
you want to go get him when he gets over here, I'll pause for him,
Mhm.
and that way I'll like stop right wherever we are, and I'll
Yeah.
give him some attention.
Well, I don't see him anymore, so
I think he went that way.
okay.
I don't know specifically where he went to.
And then what happened to Dan? He just disappeared.
Thank you guys. I try my best.
Have you got people at the other end of this?
They're just watching. They're like watching me talk.
Are they? Who are they?
Just random people who follow your YouTube page.
Yeah, YouTube channel.
Oh, it's a
American
YouTube
Jobs.
channel.
Yeah, American Jobs Factory. Creating jobs for the future. They don't destroy us. That's my that's my
And how would you do that?
through a nonprofit doing the same kind of thing you were talking about, having agency between a network and
Say more.
groups.
Be more specific.
Well, it's all outlined on my website, AmericanJobsFactory.com.
You're not gonna say.
Well,
it?
it's too. I mean, the short version is bringing a network of people together so that they have agency and a nonprofit. You have a board, so you have to vote on things, and you have open source, so everybody know. There's no secrets. Everybody knows what their value is and what their value to a company is, so they can have personal responsibility. So they're not beholden to a boss to tell them what their value is. They actually know, and they can contribute to it instead of like.
Do you have a
waiting.
model?
Yeah, it's
What's the model?
no. I created the model. It's on the website.
Yourself?
There's not a previous model. It's a.
That's
Inductive
rather
model.
ambitious.
It's a conglomeration of all kinds of different models, but the nonprofit model is probably the closest, where you have a board but the nonprofit takes care of all the human resource functions, and then because it's taking care of employees, it also will lobby for employees so that work conditions are optimal and that each person has value in a company.
No union dues.
No, we pay them, they don't pay us.
That's pretty good perk.
Okay, Christina, I'm gonna go get lunch and peace out.
Okay.
I will catch you.
I'm starving, but
Okay.
If you'd like to give me your
Okay.
email, I may
Well-
email you something at some
I'd
point.
love to. I'd love to give you my email.
That'd be great.
What's your name?
My name is Phil Loomis.
Phil Loomis. Nice to
Can
meet
I
you.
can I show the people you film documents the whole time? Are you okay with that? So
He's right with that.
this was Phil, the mystery voice, Phil Loomis.
You have like 30 people watching.
Bye.
This was
Thank
the
you.
mystery voice of Phil Loomis.
I study right over here at George Washington.
You do?
Yeah.
Are you enjoying your studies?
Loving it. Absolutely loving it. Best
Yeah.
best college, best decision I ever made. I know a lot of people don't say that these days, but
I can believe that from Justin. He enjoys learning about history and the numbers.
oh yeah, history and numbers. There you go.
No space or
No space, just Justin Diamond.
GW.
And what do you do if you don't mind my asking? Like just in general.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be a career. Just be like, who are you?
So, basically what I'm trying to do is what I've been describing is that we have these models that are pretty well developed about how to organize people. And we also have some very interesting technology that isn't entirely visible yet. So for instance, we're just about to get easy creation of digital images.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you're trying to organize these bracelet makers,
Uh-huh.
right? Let's say you're trying to get these individual bracelet makers to get those advantages that if there were 100 of them or 120 of them. The model, of course, is,
You know who
the
Andrew Yang is?
47th Street model in New York City,
Awesome.
where the
wanna get
diamond merchants are in New York.
No
They're
worries.
on
Do you want
one
a flyer or
in New York,
a game bug?
right? So in human terms, they
So
are
we
an
have like
isolated
these little
community.
cars,
Uh-huh.
and we also have
Right.
these bigger flyers and
The
game bugs, which are
advantages
kind
of
of
an
cute.
isolated, coherent
And stickers.
community, they don't have to be entirely likable,
Uh-huh.
right?
26.
Or
oh, he's
say,
26. What would he want? This?
but they all
Or that?
know each
Yeah.
other, right?
This?
That's the Ying bugs, actually.
Oh, the Ying
So
bugs. Those are
again, we're
hilarious.
talking
Okay, okay.
several
A
hundred
giant
people.
face on $1,000 for you.
So it's big enough to be
No problem.
a real economy.
So you're
There's no way your
okay.
son's
So you're talking about
26.
like how to build
Your son's
economies of
26?
scale.
How to build economies
He looks like you're
of
35.
that scale,
That's a boat.
which is mid-scale,
Uh-huh.
right?
Oh, okay. All right.
Like
well,
500
good for you. I have
or
3 kids under 5, and
150
if I look that good at your age,
Or
I'll be married right now.
5,000,
Uh-huh.
right? Where it's distributed. So you could imagine this 47th Street economy, which is, let's say it's 500 people, which is about right. Let's say for some reason they were in some sort of a context where it was important for them to have connections to another, maybe it's an allied economy, which is, maybe it's related to them in terms of providing the materials, for example. And maybe this one is 150 people, and maybe they're geographically distributed, right? And these are an artificial economy, essentially.
Yeah.
And so what you want to do is you want to support them because it's, you want to figure out how to make these economies. So that's part of it. How do you pull in all the stuff we know about how to do this?
Yeah.
And there's tons, really tons. It's really.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So you're
Okay.
basically, and is that what? Okay.
So
I like that.
we've got the knowledge, right?
Yeah.
Again, this knowledge is pretty hidden. One of the leaders is a guy named Heinrich, who is at the stage now saying, we could use this knowledge for economics. That's where he's at. This is a guy who's very successful in the world of anthropology.
It's like anthropological economics.
It is, exactly. Or complex economics,
That's very
to
cool.
some degree.
Like behavioral.
Not so much behavioral. Behavioral is a generational thing.
Uh huh.
Right? And they're looking for their future, right? So it's much more, we know how humans work. If we were going to make an octopus economy, what we do is we'd study octopuses,
Yeah.
right? That's the idea. So we have all this knowledge,
yeah.
and it's hard.
Yeah.
We need people to
Do you want
learn
a
it
flyer?
and then apply it.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to study economics.
Did you
too.
want a flyer or a
Exactly.
Yang
Because
buck or
I mean, like I
anything like that?
don't know if I've said this to you before, but I'm like an economics.
You did, you mentioned
Okay, yeah. I'm an international economics concentration. That's what I focus on.
Right.
In international affairs, which is technically my major, but like economics is the real like
Sure.
laser
That's what you're
focus.
interested in.
So, and I also minor in philosophy.
Okay,
So
cool.
that explains the whole like interested in anthropology thing too. But I think that the best way to study economics is to do exactly what you're saying, is to like look at people in general, like
Right.
like how people, not just how they behave individually, but like how whole countries, like for macroeconomics, in the context of macroeconomics, how like countries behave. Like what are people like, and how can you use human systems to optimize economies? Not necessarily just by relying on like laissez-faire, invisible hand to do
Right.
everything for you. Not everyone is utility maximizing.
In fact, nobody is.
Yeah, we
Except-
we might try to be, but
Yeah.
I used to think that. I made the argument. I remember I got into an argument with my
How old were you
girlfriend.
when you made this argument?
I was this is last year. I got
Okay.
into an argument with my girlfriend over whether or not people are utility maximizing, and she
Right.
beat me in the argument.
Did she?
Yeah,
Did she change your
destroyed
mind?
me. Yeah, she changed my mind.
Are you still going out
So,
with her?
yeah, we're still going out.
Good.
It's 8 months now. So,
Good.
So people are
Congratulations.
being utility maximizing?
well, some people try, like most people might try to be, but not everyone's good at it.
no.
And also, there is, I'll just throw out,
Can you explain what utility maximizing is for the people? Because
Utility maximizing?
I'm a little hazy on it.
Utility maximizing is doing things in a way that you will gain maximum pleasure and be essentially as perfect as you can be in terms of how satisfied you are with the resources you have.
and it has one major problem, and I'll try to explain it because I'll try to explain it. And it's a complexity problem. And it is that everything is changing everywhere, all the time, at every conceivable level of detail. And the level of change is therefore, even locally to yourself, infinite.
So nobody has perfect information.
Not only do they have not perfect information, but if they try to maximize something, it's gone before they even get to you thinking about it. Right?
Yeah.
And we're, as a species, are going in the other direction, which is perception of this complexity. Right?
I am convinced that there's only one form of utility maximization that's perfect now.
What's that?
And that's when you order food at a restaurant. Because you only have $20
Right.
and you'll know what you want and you'll know
Sure.
what will make you the happiest.
Sure.
And that's basically the only time where you buy something that you actually have perfect information. Like you have the menu in front of you and you have a certain amount of money.
Yeah.
So like I'm convinced that that's
So-
the
so
only
there-
time where people are actually perfectly utility maximizing.
And I would,
That's why
the
Andrew
idea
Yang.
that comes to mind is that somebody created this situation for you, and it's in certain senses it's a fantasy situation, right? In other words, somebody is giving you a fantasy which is a lot of fun and just great, and who wouldn't love to do it? And absolutely. And somebody, it's an act of creativity to give
Yes,
it to
I
you.
know. You can't plan
Right?
everything, people. This is generic. This is what? No, this is.
It's not doesn't necessarily pertain to Yang, like the philosophy of economies, but I mean, because people are like saying like, well, how does this pertain to
There's
Andrew
Fred
Yang?
the felon. Thanks, Fred. $2.
But there is like it does play. I'd say it does have something to do with it because the way that you build an economy, and I would say is something like capitalism, where you have people can compete, people can still have the same systems that they live on, and they can try to utility maximize. Like you can go to the store and buy whatever you want, but something like UBI, Universal Basic Income, gives people the resources that they need to participate in an economy without being perfectly utility maximizing. Because if you're
Good
perfectly
point.
utility maximizing, then you'll never be upset. You'll never have economic woes. You'll never have to worry about it. But what?
I kind of see it as the opposite. I think.
What do you think?
How do you?
I think utility maximization will improve with the freedom dividend.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, that is what you're saying. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Sorry. I
So
thought-
people
okay.
can have the leeway to not be perfect in their information while still like having more resources in general. You don't have to be perfect to utility maximize. You'll still have more utility. You don't even have to maximize.
Right.
Because you can have half the utility. If you have twice the money, you're in the same place as you were.
Well, I mean, I guess I'm still looking at it more of the traditional way of just maximizing it with the money. And I'm thinking that they will be able to maximize more of their utility. You're right, it's never going to be 100%, but they will be able to maximize more of their utility with the basic cushion. Because, you know, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Like,
Yeah.
you're going to get a larger percentage of your needs and higher level in the pyramid of your needs met with that cushion. So you'll be able to maximize more of your utility when you're not thinking about a roof over your head and you're like, am I going to start a business? Am I,
Right.
you know? So I
Right.
think that is utility maximization taken to the next level for
Yeah.
a lot of society. I mean, maybe it's not going to solve 100% of poverty, but it'll be like a lot more than, you know, right now. So.
Yeah, it's taking people and putting them
Yeah.
at income that starts at 12,000.
Exactly.
So even if you're someone who's making zero, you have somewhere you're starting.
12,000 is enough in many parts of the country for one person.
Enough to eat and have
Right.
basic shelter.
And he's also doing kind of a Trumpian thing in that he's $1,000 is flat. So if you're in an urban area, that $1,000 doesn't take you as far. So it is valuing middle America more and the chance to move
Right.
there potentially, right?
Right.
So it's not forgetting about the heartland and
Right.
you know,
That's true, yeah.
it's
Right.
kind of interesting for a Dem
Sure.
candidate to do that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Encourage people to move to red states
Absolutely.
with their $12,000. That takes you a lot further
That's
if
right.
you're a homeless person in
Absolutely,
DC.
right? Yeah.
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 That's also a way people get entrenched in homelessness as an issue. Is they go to a city where the costs are higher instead of
Right.
going somewhere where you could theoretically just land a job and live in a more rural area.
Yeah.
Because homeless people go here because it's easiest to maybe get by, but it's not necessarily the best for you long term.
No. And I'm gonna leave it there.
Yeah. So nice meeting you.
Same
Really.
here. It was a
You,
real
do you live
pleasure.
around here?
I do. I live pretty close.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful.
Nice to
Cool.
meet
I mean,
you.
I'm like
Same
right
here.
here, so I mean,
you
that's
really?
yeah.
Okay,
You
great.
seem like a professor. You at
People
least give
say
like
that.
professor vibes. You seem like an ant professor or something.
Thank you.
So yeah,
All right.
Thanks, Jess.
shoot me an email or something. I don't
Okay.
know. Just keep in touch.
I
Thanks,
will.
thanks,
All right.
Jess.
Cool guy.
It's a
You're
pleasure.
awesome.
Pleasure meeting you.
Thank you. Nice meeting you. A little bit off
Okay.
track, but
So,
can't hurt.
yeah.
Well, there wasn't any
This
wall
is
talking just for an
organic.
hour, so.
You can't always control every conversation. Sometimes you have to get in the weeds.
And you know he's definitely gonna Google Andrew Yang now.
Yeah.
There's no way that he had a conversation with me for an hour
And
and,
if
he's
it-
not gonna Google Andrew
and-
Yang.
Thank you so much, Jess, again. And Justin here is the best person to talk economic concepts.
Yeah.
With that kind of guy. Better than me. I mean,
I was an econ major and I couldn't even handle it for more than like 5 minutes
yeah.
or so. So
Yeah.
props to you.
Justin will talk to anybody for any length of time.
Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse.
Yes. So that made me think. Have you heard of the Venus Project that this guy was doing without any monetary, kind of?
Without any money, like just
Yeah.
bartering.
Well, no, it's like all the. I don't think it's bartering. I think all the
Like
resources.
communal resources.
Yeah.
Ah, I see.
Communal resources. It's called the Venus Project.
Mhm.
I think he's still alive. I think he's in California. He does like tours of what he thinks the project could be like, but he never had enough money
Hi.
to actually get it done.
Yeah, well, that's the funny thing is it takes money to
Yeah.
create something that's self-sustaining because self-sustaining things generally aren't that economically
Yeah.
efficient.
He's like, this is the way the economy and our future needs to be, but he can't get it because he needs money to get it done.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's kind of catch-22 on that one. But yeah, Venus Project, look that up.
Beggars can't be choosers.
I think you'd be interested in it from an
Oh, yeah.
economics standpoint. So anyway, that's what my nonprofit's about, is to just give workers more agency, I guess. That's the
Mhm.
quick answer. Okay, just random people running behind us, that's fine.
Well, I guess it is a good place to just jog with nice scenery and landmarks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's top jogging.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know though. I don't exercise.
I did until I sprained my ankle.
You
No,
don't
I'm
need,
just kidding.
well, I was gonna say you don't need to exercise.
Well, you should,
but you
but-
have no muscle, so I understand.
Yeah,
how you-
I'm like a noodle.
yeah.
That's why I
Oh my
study
gosh.
anthropology.
You're like. Okay, so
You are my kid's favorite food.
so I don't know if we'll talk to any truckers at this point because Fred the trucker, not Fred the felon, Fred the organizer here, was here and left almost immediately.
He didn't even like try to.
he
like,
got
I was gonna speak to him after he finished the thought, but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he just walked by basically.
yeah.
Did he have something else to go to, or?
No, he just kind of he was gonna sit down for a while.
I think
and talk.
I think he got bored of the conversation quicker than we did.
Yeah.
Aww.
I mean, it was a
Sorry to
good
hear
it was a
that.
good conversation, but I do think you need a little nerd in you to go the
go that
length
hard.
to go the length. Yeah. So we were talking about statistics and
Oh, no.
earlier
Yes.
with Justin, and
Sorry.
the labor participation is way down. We decided 63% is lower than most third
A lot
world
of- I don't know the exact numbers. But
yeah, third world countries. Okay, and I think we stopped at half the disability, and then the other half, Andrew always says that there's higher rate of suicide and
Mhm.
depression.
we're talking about welfare as a concept.
Yeah. Oh, we were talking about welfare as a concept, but I guess I'm trying to verify Andrew Yang's statistics that
Mhm.
that do you know if half did, or there is a higher rate of suicide? It's
Oh, higher
all-
rate of suicide, definitely. This
Yeah.
is the first time the country's
since the Spanish
average lifespan has declined for 3 years in a row since the Spanish flu. Yeah,
the Spanish flu,
and that's
So
because of the opioid epidemic and suicide, primarily.
so that's a real statistic.
Very real. Yeah.
Yeah, Andrew Yang's not making up any numbers.
No, that's the interesting thing about that statistic is that things like World War II don't even decrease your average life expectancy. Like you'd think something like that would do the damage, but I think that goes to show just how damaging suicide and the opioid epidemic is.
Okay.
Because think about it this way, it literally did more damage than World War II to the average American lifespan.
That's not good, people. That's not good.
at all.
And so the idea is things are not You know, I talk to Republicans a lot because I have a lot of Republican family members, and they are trying to push the narrative that things are much better under Trump now. That our economy is doing better than ever before.
Yeah.
Are you interested?
You might,
How much is what?
the truck is
How much
Oh,
is
we're
it?
not selling
Oh, we
it.
don't know.
Sorry.
$80,000 or something. I don't know.
We're
It's a
just
lot.
kidding. We don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's up there.
It's a big truck.
It's up there. I would guess like 100,000 or 80,000. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're expensive.
I was saying. I forget what I was saying.
So we're just talking about.
Oh, the how well off things are. So with respect to how well off things are, we're not at the worst point in history.
Okay.
People. I think that the 21st century is magnificent. It's like a great place to be. We have technology. We have
Yeah, we can do
relatively
this
safe
live.
society.
We can do this live now. 5-10 years ago, I couldn't have done a live
Yeah,
on my
exactly.
phone.
So I mean, like things are better than ever. I would say,
Yeah.
in the sense of what we have access to or what we can do.
Right.
But in terms of how happy people are, that's not necessarily true. And I wouldn't say it has anything to do with like Trump. Like people would say like Trump made things better than ever. No, I'm not saying Trump makes things worse than ever. But
Right.
in terms of happiness and fulfillment, I don't think Americans are at their peak.
Right.
They're not as great as they can be.
Right, and,
Um,
but a lot of people are struggling, and Andrew's point is that that's why the American people were willing to take a chance on Trump because he got the problems right, and he promised to make America great again, things better, and his solutions are not the right solutions.
Yeah. And here's the thing about the war on normal people, Yang's book. He spends about a third of the book just on this word. He could just basically call the first third of the book normal people. Because it's very interesting when you define the normal person in America. It's not the average person, it's the median person. Because when you're looking at like macroeconomics, you don't want to look at the average because there could be people who skew the numbers. You want to look at the median American. And the median American is, I believe, if I have it, I'm not sure I have the wage exactly correct, but it's a 39-year-old woman making $12 an hour in retail.
Right.
So if you put that in the context of costs of living
Would
in
you
the
like
United
a Yang
States
buck
of
or a
America,
sticker or which one?
making 12 an hour.
Either. There you
I'll
go.
get it.
Thank you. I love Andrew Yang.
Oh, you know this?
Yeah.
Is this his truck?
Enthusiast.
This is Fred the Felon's truck. Do you know Fred the Felon?
No.
He's one of the more prominent supporters, and he's a
Oh.
trucker. And he's actually been in some like campaign ads and on YouTube, like talking about how much he likes Yang because Yang rode around with him in his truck for like a day and a half or
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
something.
Huh.
And yeah, he did a GoFundMe to get a wraparound for his truck, and I think his goal was like 7K, but he raised like 9 or 10K.
Oh,
So
that's
this is like
nice.
what his truck is gonna look like after he finishes wrapping it.
Awesome.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah. Can I
So he's
actually
gonna
get a
drive it all
sticker
around the
instead?
country. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Take whatever.
Going on my water bottle.
Do you want me to
We're
peel
doing
it,
it
or do you
live
want
on YouTube
it
right
on
now.
the?
Can you leave it on?
Yeah. Let me just cut it.
One of you ladies want to be on live cam?
We're doing an interview.
Oh my god.
Come
What
on,
are you
man.
gonna ask us?
We just
No,
answered
No,
the
they're
question.
doing it.
We're
It's not
interested.
facing you right now.
Yeah, it's
They're just
not-
asking
it's
you if you're
facing us.
interested. If not, don't worry
It's
about it.
facing us, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
it's
it
facing
sees
them.
me.
What are you at? What are you gonna ask?
We're just talking about Yang and issues that pertain to the campaign, things like that.
No.
Nothing.
Not interested.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Have a great day.
That's all right. Have a wonderful day.
Okay. So they're very nice ladies. Too bad can't get them on camera. Too
Privacy
shy.
is a huge issue these
Yeah.
days, which Yang makes the point
Yeah,
about.
privacy
Exactly.
is
Yes.
a big issue. Yeah, some people don't like to be filmed. It's fine.
Yeah, it's all good.
So-
Camera shy.
Nam, if you can find any trucker, like Fred or the other guy we interviewed
So
yesterday.
your name again?
I honestly
Fred?
have questions because like there are things I don't know about electronic logging devices that I'm very curious about.
Yeah. And Justin's the man to ask the hard-hitting questions. I mean, I asked my questions already. They talked about the biggest thing that's causing them pain right now is that aren't able to decide when they get to work and when they get to rest because of a law that was passed that they're on like a clock.
Yeah.
And so it's causing them lots of problems and causing people to get out of the business and pushing them out, they say. So that's the big problem, and they want to there's another law in the works in the House or something that's going to cause their insurance to go up like 3 times as much, and then they won't be able to afford it, and small business owners won't be able to afford to run their truck.
This
So-
is another hot take, but obligating people to pay insurance is basically a scam. That's a really hot take, though. That has nothing to do with the Yang campaign.
Well,
That's
explain
the personal.
explain that.
I mean, like for car insurance, if you know yourself to be a good driver, say you've driven for 30 years and you've never gotten into an accident,
Right. But there's always the one time, you know.
there's always, everyone says that, but economically, based on the statistical probability that you're going to get into a crash, you're better off to take the same amount of money that you pay into an insurance company, put it into an account, and because the way they're profiting is that
They're getting the interest instead of you.
yeah, they're skimming a bit off the top always. So I mean, statistically, if you can prove that through some reasonable sample size, like say I've been driving for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
If you can prove through a reasonable sample size that you're not going to get into a crash, it's reasonable to, instead of paying insurance, opt out of insurance and put your money away into maybe a private insurance account that could theoretically
Right, but
be
nobody does that. That's
flexible.
the problem.
I know, but it's economically
It
ridiculous.
would be better, but the point is, like, when you're held accountable to actually pay somebody else, that's when you actually do it. And
Yeah.
I sold life insurance for a while,
Uh-huh.
and it was the same kind of thing. Yeah, if a lot of times it would be better if you just put it somewhere on your own, but
Yeah.
nobody does that, and the problem is it's insurance. So if something does happen,
Yeah.
then you're covered.
Yeah,
And-
precisely.
And most people aren't covered, and that was the point. So.
Yeah.
But also, I found out if you are economically taken care of, like you're struggling.
How's it going, guys?
Yang,
Done quite well.
You guys?
Thank you.
Yang supporters.
And there are people who it pays to have insurance, like if
Yeah.
you're predisposed to having an issue. But I mean, like just in terms of like the management of it,
Well, the whole
the way it works.
thing where insurance and there's like bigger, it's getting more and more expensive all the
Mhm.
time, and that's what's not. I mean,
Well, it gets more insurance if more people do the smart economic choice.
right.
So if people who aren't going to get into a crash don't pay the insurance bill, then they may benefit themselves, but the prices go up for everyone else.
Right.
But I mean, technically, that's more.
And that's what like the
More
Medicare
effective.
system is to capture everyone so that those statistics iron out. So
Yeah,
that-
I believe that you should either have really like no government Medicare or Medicare for all. There's really no middle ground, because then it's a confusing hodgepodge.
yeah.
So I mean, I support either one, just on the basis of the economics of it.
So that's the thing that's causing the truckers two big issues causing them pain, and then automation is really they're convincing themselves that automation's not going to happen. Pretty much. Is
Yeah.
What I understand from talking to them. They're like they keep saying as soon as a robot truck hits a school bus of children, their automation will stop dead in its tracks. That won't be happening anymore. So
I see the argument. It makes sense.
and that's true, but if it happens once, they'll train the computer not to ever do that again.
But-
and statistically, it will be safer than humans.
Statistically, being safer than humans. Here's my concern. If it is statistically safer than humans, it still might not be implemented because it's a headline. It's more of it has a shock effect if
Right.
if a robot truck kills someone.
Right.
So I mean, I agree, and I think it will replace people because I think it should because it is better than people. But I worry about the public opinion towards it being skewed, sort of like with nuclear energy,
Right.
which is also part of Yang's climate plan.
right.
Public opinion is skewed against nuclear energy, although it's the safest because the news headlines are scary.
Right.
So I would worry about public sentiment.
But it just might take longer. It's not like it's not going to happen. So
Yeah,
instead of 10 years, it would take 20 years.
I agree, and I don't even think it's like the only good reason for having UBI in the first place. Like, is that robot trucks are going to take people's jobs. Like,
Right.
There's so many good reasons for having UBI. It's just one of many. So even if it doesn't happen, there's
freedom
reasons to support
dividend.
Yang.
Freedom dividend.
Freedom dividend.
Yeah.
Even if it never happens,
No, I agree.
it still makes sense. It's not like
But those
a necessary premise.
But those are the main questions, and so then my question would be, well, what do we do about it? And they're trying to, obviously, with the trucks, they're trying to bring attention to their issues,
Mhm.
awareness to, truckers, and they need to get somebody in the house to take them seriously and help pass, reverse this law that causes them to be on this clock and not have agency. But somebody else was saying that one of the reasons they're doing that is to have the data set so that they can replace them. Because if they're on a clock, then they know when they're driving and when they're not driving, and they have better data set. Do you think that might be
Are
a
they?
reason?
I mean, I'm genuinely like asking. I'm not like asking this to like push like the focus of the interview, but like I genuinely don't know. Is the reason they've implemented these clocks for like safety regulations?
That's what they say, that it would save 26 lives a year or something, or a month. I don't know if it's a year or a month. Sorry, I'll have to go back to the video, but they found that
I
didn't
would
happen.
guess it's higher. I would guess it's a
Month.
because I mean, based on the number of car accidents.
Yeah, I would think
I don't know that.
maybe it is months, but the point is it didn't happen, or it didn't save any lives. So so they're seeing it as it was like a false flag to just go against small business owner truckers so corporations would have a better ease at taking them over.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, in the War on Normal People, Andrew talks about how 90% of truckers are part of a firm that's 10 trucks or less, or they're solo owners.
Right.
So, I mean, statistically, it would make sense that that conglomerate large firm is trying to get a bigger hold of the market share, because I mean that's how capitalism works. The bigger
Right.
percent of the market share you have, the more power you have as a company, and at a certain point, you get sort of monopoly powers.
Right. That's what it sounds like they're going. Corporations are going for monopoly powers.
Yeah, that would make sense, because I mean right now the trucking industry is very decentralized. It's very local. It's like people own their own trucks,
Right.
or at least a good amount of them own their own trucks.
Yeah. And they're not unionized.
They're not unionized because they don't really have to be. It's like a small firm. But I mean, like if these big trucking institutions come over and there's still no unions.
So I'm wondering if American Jobs Factory should invest in the trucking industry first.
It seems like a genuinely good industry to focus, because it's homogenous in how it works. Everyone's a truck driver. They move things from one place to another. So it's a simple concept. It's not like if you said retail, because retail could mean so many things.
Oh, okay.
So for something like what you're trying to do, I think the trucking industry is almost the perfect place to start.
Yeah, I would love to interview the truckers, but they all disappeared on me. So Nam is combing the area trying to get a trucker to come on the live stream and talk to us. So just so you know.
When's Alyssa coming?
I don't know, Alyssa, when are you coming?
Alyssa's watching.
Oh,
Hello,
she's
Alyssa.
watching. Hi,
Probably.
Alyssa.
Oh wait. Now wave.
Hey.
What time is it?
It is
Oh,
12.
man, it's still pretty early.
Oh, it's
Nice.
almost 1, right? Okay. So Nam is coming back empty-handed. I'm shaking my head at him. I think he's.
Can I
not
randomly
shaking-
shout out something?
Yeah, go.
My sister published a book today, and it's her birthday.
Sorry
So
for
if you
taking
want to
so
read a
long to
cool
come
book
out
about
and say
finding
no.
fulfilling employment,
But I had to listen to them.
it's Figure Your Shit Out by Danielle Diamond.
Oh, okay. I'll
relate
have,
the
to,
message
I'll have to
of
bleep that out now. Thanks.
Oh, you do? I was like, oh god, I don't know the rating of this channel.
So I
It's
I-
bleeped out on the book's cover. If it
talked
makes
to
you feel
a
better.
few truckers down there sitting on their chairs. And, hey, you guys want to do some live cam? And they said no. And one of them is a avid Trump supporter.
Yeah.
And one of them, he says he's a neutral. And the other guy seems like he's also a Trump supporter too.
Yeah, they don't want to rep Trump.
But you know what they say? You know
I'm
what
okay
they say?
with it. There's Trump's scared.
Tell them to come over here and tell us why they support
Yeah,
Trump.
I mean, I asked them about it, and you know what they say?
What?
That was really good. You know what, you guys, you're the only one here. Yang Gang is the only one here.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're the
No,
only
that's
one
true.
supporting the trucks. So you would think they'd want to support us. Come on.
Maybe
What's going on?
maybe someone come over and tell us why they support Trump,
Yeah.
because that would be helpful to know.
Well, I mean, the thing,
Promising to keep every job, even if he can't fulfill this promise.
Well, no, I mean it's still important to like Like you don't even have to be over here
Yeah,
to talk
yeah.
about Yang. You can talk about Trump, and that has to do with Yang because
Yeah, we
Yang
could
is
talk
part
about
of the
Trump,
bigger picture.
Sure.
Yeah, we believe it. So
Anyway, so I can bring him here.
this may be. I may have to change the title to Yang Gang representing at the DC trucker thing without truckers. Is what I might have to.
Oh, we're gonna get the Fred here, right? We're gonna get Fred here sometime.
I was hoping, but Fred did disappear on me. So I don't know what happened with Fred. And we're not talking Fred the felon. Clearing that up every time. Fred the organizer.
Yeah, Fred the organizer.
So yes, figure your ish out. Is
Figure
that-
your SH asterisk T out by
Yeah.
Danielle Hope Diamond. She uses the
By-
full name because
by
the
Danielle.
font.
Danielle Hope.
So how did she write
Diamond.
this book if she didn't have the freedom dividend? Like,
Yeah.
was she a
That's a
student?
lot
Did
of
she have
work.
extra
she
time?
does work she does work full time in marketing.
Wow, so she
She does
did this
freelance
like
work. She does freelance work. Yeah.
after work hours.
Yeah, she
Props
does
to her.
she does marketing. She also does
Alyssa is
she
in
writes for
close-
Broadway. She does like writing.
Cool.
She worked for my nonprofit.
I'll give her your info.
Free.
Yeah, no doubt.
Free for now.
Working for free. Hell, I might take you up on that. I'm a student. I'll take any opportunity I can get.
Okay.
I'll help you with whatever you need.
Well, my nonprofit right now is focused on Yang, so that's right in his wheelhouse right here.
Oh, totally.
Focused on Yang and nonprofit. It's the best of both worlds,
It's
right?
a Yang Pilled nonprofit.
Yeah, it's a Yang Killed nonprofit. So that's great. So
Alyssa's coming here soon.
yeah, Alyssa's coming
Awesome.
soon. So I will probably do another live when Alyssa's here.
Everyone's talking about the Yang Media blackout right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
you
true.
the CNN graphic that didn't show his fundraising
But
numbers?
we are non-Yang media blackout. We're a pro media Yang. Red out. I don't.
Red out.
I
Brown
don't know.
out.
We're bright out. I don't know.
trying
Brown out is temporary.
Yeah, brown out. We're not brown. We're definitely in the white light of redness for Yang.
We're in a white spot.
Bright spite. So
We're under a heat lamp.
if we can call, my logo does have press on it, so that's official right there, people. So anyway, we're gonna wrap this up because you know you can only talk so much about
no, I can talk for a few more
about
hours.
about randomness without new guests. We don't
Definitely.
have we need new guests. So when we have the new guests ready and waiting, we
Alyssa
will
will be here in 5 minutes.
and maybe Alyssa will be able to go again, and we'll have some more stuff live for you, and then awesome videos will come also from my backlog here in the next few days, so that'll be exciting. And I go to
Hey,
South Carolina.
plug me in too, bud.
Yeah, Nam, I did a video. I posted a video today that Nam actually edited. Yes, he produced. This guy.
And I have a channel too. It's called Make Me Think Harder. So it's the Andrew Yang's job to make America think harder. So it's my job to make me think harder.
1 second. I think I subscribed to you.
So
I think I have subscribed.
and he produced the last video, as in he edited it and used his own footage. So check
Oh,
that.
no, I don't sub to you.
Check that last video out with Hannah.
You already subbed me?
I subbed you.
All right.
So we have one fan. Justin is
There
a
we go.
fan, a Nam fan, Nam man.
I am
Nam fan.
subscribed.
Nan
So-
fan, Yang gang.
Nam fan.
Nam fan,
Nam
yeah,
fan.
gang. Okay.
When you run for president.
Yeah, it's gonna be the Nan fan.
I'm not a citizen. I mean,
Ah,
I'm
He's
that's
a
not
nationalized.
You know what though?
You can still
should
run
still
for other
run.
things.
Yeah.
Just run for president
You
anyway.
don't have to be president.
Just run for
Run.
president anyway. Let everyone write you in.
Okay.
I'd write you in.
Over Andrew Yang? I think not.
Well, I actually decided I'm voting for Yang no matter what because I'm in New York State,
I don't
so
wanna
it doesn't
split the
really
vote
matter.
against Yang.
So I'm gonna write in Yang no matter what, or vote for him on the ballot with his box that he will get.
Yes. And that reminds me, people, again, if you're in Virginia, that's where we are kind of close to, and you need to sign the petition to get Andrew Yang on the Virginia primary ballot.
Totally.
So hit up a local Yang gang, get your signature on there if you're in the Virginia area. It is ridiculous that Andrew Yang is not on the ballot yet for the primaries, because we're going to win the whole thing. And thank you, Yang Gang, for joining us today. Keep on rocking. Keep on being the solution. part of the Solution Generation, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye, everyone. Okay, now we just sit here for a second as a B-roll, and then
It's still going.
We're gonna end at like 1:30.
Got it.
Really
Got
late.
it.
So we already said goodbye. So now I just cut it off whenever I feel like it.
I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah. And so
Thank you for having me
This
on.
is like behind the scenes right now, and then yeah.
Of course.
She's just cutting stuff, so
Hi.
it's really behind the scenes. For
Hello.
her. So yeah. So that's.
I might go
definitely-
have to talk to some truckers.
Yeah, we definitely need.
Who are the
talk-
truckers? I just see a bunch of trucks, but I don't see
Yeah.
any truckers.
I think they're all sitting over there.
They sit in their chairs and not talking to us.
Some of them are in the trucks.
You know what they should do?